Welcome back, Terracotta. Looking at you. Not talking about regatta, talking about terracotta. Terracotta and regatta are really close phonetically, but one's a cheese. What are you gonna do with that? Good morning, all. Happy to be here. Welcome to Tuesday. I'm happy to see you guys even showed up. I don't stream Tuesdays regularly. Let's be honest, I don't have that kind of gravity, Tuesday gravity. Tuesday's gone. And, but I couldn't help it. I want to practice. I've really appreciated the time off to allow me to finish the book. Black Eye Club is available now. You can get it right now. It's on sale in Amazon. You could get it and you'd be like, tell me what you freaking think. Because, man, there's a lot of like deep stuff in there. And one of those is Nimrod's algorithm. And look at what we got here. What do we got going on here? We got things going on here. What is going on here, right? And let me first just check in by saying people are rioting in Chicago, LA, and in New York. At least 50 people arrested between Saturday and Monday morning. LAPD reported earlier 29 arrests on Saturday, plus 27 more Sunday, taking at least 55. Users peg the amount total to 56 arrests in LA alone. We've deployed 2,000 National Guard troops, federalized in 60 days. They are protecting 2 buildings in LA. That's right, 2 buildings. The federal building and then the other federal building, if you're looking for the details of those. Why are you watching me? This is the first time I've ever distributed news like this. You know, I come here, oh, James, can you just friggin' tell me? It's like, dude, what do you want to know? Is this a surprise to you all? Is this a surprise? Are we talking about a surprise? Is this what's going on? Is this a surprise? Oh my God, something's happening. Or is it worse? Do you think that this is controlled? Are you that uptight? What if I was to tell you that one of the first angst, the first inclinations we have when we see something larger than ourselves happening around us and it has such a force is to bequeath its power and its reins into a central force that we call a leader. But a leader is actually a leash attached to something else. So really it's a two-way street. And you've been told, you've been raised on the milk of answers. Not truth. Answers. Yeah, answers. These answers feel so good. Neurologically, they distribute this sense of, oh, I got it fucking going on. I know what's happening. I got all the truth right now. 55 is a magical number. And that's pretty interesting. So if we've got 5,000, that 2,000 National Guard troop, by the way, will include 70 active duty Marines. Right now on TikTok, I'm getting in trouble. I'm not allowed on TikTok. I was thrown out when I tried to tell someone with purple hair that her claiming that a Baphomet unicorn was her creation. I was trying to explain to her how copyright law works. I didn't realize how easy it was to get thrown off TikTok. It was really just, I just wrote this in a comment. And then I was like, so my TikTok career probably lasted like 8 days. Hail Baphomet, right? I mean, it shows you kind of why I wrote Arca Baphomet. It was all with this purple hair girl, blue hair girl. I say purple because I really like Hades. Now you know why lesbians dye their hair blue. They don't want you to see. They want to become invisible to the primitive mind, to the aboriginal mind. Some of you may be going, well, how do you know that? It's like, because someone could have enough money and resources to keep a 200,000-year-old de-evolved life form. Not just in a clone in a freezer, but like a living museum where these dudes are kind of like wandering around in the outback, eating bugs. 200,000-year-old people eating bugs in modern times. And we keep them alive so we can study them. But we can't tell you that. We can't share this information with the rest of society. What's even more important is that society itself would suppress this information because this one fucking know. We don't fucking know. That's why America's like, yeah, we don't want anyone working with no clones. However, we're going to put dead babies in Dr. Pepper. And so you end up blocking out this whole border wall of thought form itself. We have this idea that if all of us morally are outraged against gambling, then we can have a state lottery and fund education. And that doesn't work. And what happens with the people that win lotteries? So what happens? They live a horrible existence. James, why do they live a horrible existence? And it's the same thing that happens if I was to subcutaneously inject you with a buttload of honey. Be a honey trap. That's what it'd be. A honey trap. Did she also identify as a unicorn Baphomet? Yeah, I think. First of all, man, I wish I had a sad music to play. First of all, I always get caught in this middle of the street. I think that if she was to read Arca Baphomet, she'd probably be like, holy fuck. In my mind, this appeals to both sides. I've looked at things from both sides now, from up and down, from in and out, and Hades is a clouded illusion. So why? What are we talking about, James? Well, if you're looking at a lot of riders and a lot of flashbang, rubber bullets, tear gas, 600 rounds of lethal. 600 rounds of lethal munition. ICE arresting 118 people. 118 people. So if you consider that all of this has gone into removing 118 undocumented workers from the country, then you're just looking at the power of, it's a cosmology. It's a cosmology of credentials. We've talked about this before, but first of all, if you are seeing some of the Marines on TikTok are like, you guys don't want us to come into LA because if we come into LA, we're going to show you what it's like to be a Marine. We're going to kick some butt. We're going to show you all that we're boss. And I'm just like, dude, let me do the math here. It's like, let's look at the Taliban. Quick look at the Taliban. 2,500 roughly 2,500 dudes in sandals. If you look at the latest numbers of what the Taliban actually was, it roughly came down to 2,500 combatants, 12,500 suspected combatants. That's what it was. But 2,500 like actually sort of documentable combatants in the entire fucking country. I'm not kidding. 150 used Toyota Tacoma pickup trucks. Marines, TikTok Marines, I'm looking at you right now. Okay? You guys went over there. 2,500 armed combatants and 500 Craigslist Toyota Tacoma pickup trucks. Wearing sandals. Guys, wearing sandals. Unvaccinated. And they kicked our ass. Yeah, you could call this sacrilege. You'd have to, because this is a religion of thank you for your service. This is part of how it all works. James, how dare you? Do you realize how brave those people are? And I'm like, are you talking about the people that are told how to cut their hair, that are told what to wear, that are told where to go, that are told how to do it, that are given all the regulations and all the justifications and all the diplomatic immunity, legal immunity, liable immunity that they could possibly need, and all they have to do is put on a uniform and just say they're something else? We're calling that brave. This is the land of the brave. And so we've defined that that's what it is, and that's why it's sacrilege for someone like me to do it. And you know what's fucking weird is I'm a fucking veteran. I'm a combat veteran. I literally have a little fucking rectangle that proves it. A little rectangle right there of an honorable discharge and a little rectangle. I went to college on the GI Bill. But I'm not allowed to fucking say these things. I mean, I could say them. But it's not helping. Am I helping the situation? Or are these guys helping the situation? Because, see, I get to sit on my high horse. I get to be over here being like, hey, look at me. I'm morally superior. These guys are frauds. These guys are faking it all. These guys are the ones that are doing all the evil. And I'm here to tell you, man, there's a lot going on here, guys. And when I say there's a lot going on, I'm telling you that it's not all bad. And when you start to look up the ladder or down the ladder, I don't care which way you look. When you start to understand deeply what's going on, you actually start to understand what's required to happen. What is actually required to happen for all of this to work, for this menagerie to come just a tiny bit clearer, just a little bit more resolution to it. You start to recognize a little bit more of the faces, a little bit more of the games, a little bit more of the reality of the reality. Isn't reality television the reality of reality? Aren't you a sapien of your sapiens? Isn't the rise of reality TV itself simply a rise in the awareness of what it takes to hold your attention? To hold everyone's attention. Look at me. I'm doing it right now. Hey, I really want your attention. Will you give me your attention? I really want your attention. Will you give me your attention? So at the end of the day, we're understanding that each of us are honey. Each of us are a precious resource. And this is coming from a place where we don't want to be aware of that. We don't want to fully understand how valuable it is that wherever we look, we imbue. And everything that we stare at in the world fucking grows. It's a Cyclopsian responsibility, like X-Men Cyclops, like this vorpal oval of witness that just comes pouring out, and everything that you see teems with awareness, and it runs a quantum engine that collapses all the possibilities into what you rendered into fullness. And you did that. You're collapsing waves every second that you look. Every conscious moment that you have requires you to collapse or chomp like a Pac-Man, to swallow some form of reality and give it validity. You validate the machine by having a reaction to it. So what do I tell you? Do I tell you that a healthy immune system respects its borders, and a country is an organism, and a country with an organism would need a bilipid layer to remove that which is not itself? Or would I tell you that this is a new world order, and all of us will bow down to a sacred sound, a sacred algorithm that is being solved every moment as it watches what we watch, as it sees what we see? This is bigger than you think, because the egregore is gaining its own awareness. And our very fear of what this egregore can do is the thing that's charging it the most. It's invigorating it. We invigorate the machine by insisting that someone has to be behind it. And the way that we insist that someone has to be behind it, do you know how? Is we build a pyramid so that there's like a central king's chamber. And then all of us are going to feel someone's behind it. And what if the Great Pyramid, the sole purpose of that thing, was to give people a king's chamber? To give people a jed pillar, 7 stone layers, resonating on top of each other, each hand chiseled, cut to a certain sonic frequency that resonates inside this rectangular chamber. Not the queen's chamber, not a vaulted roof, but a square, a certain size itself. And that it's so easy for people that want to believe that there is a higher power, a godlike power, that it would become necessary for you to build an instrument, an effigy that proves it to be. And so the bicameral mind spends all this time creating steps, creating mounds. And when you look all over Mississippi and you look at Cahokia, you look at Cholula. Yeah, it's Cholula. You see mounds built on top of mounds, built on top of mounds. And for some reason we insist that it was a flat plane of sand at the pyramids. And that at no point could this have been a lesser mound that becomes bigger. And just as a new chief rises, what does the chief have to do? He has to insult what is there. The infrastructure of what is there is not good enough for his people, so he demands that it grow further. And he utilizes the fascism of the crowd as an instrument, a way of packing more mud. And in Cahokia, people were gathering mud on their backs in baskets made out of, saplings weaved together. And that they would dump these dump trucks, human dump trucks, dumping this mud, creating not a mud flood, but a mud pyramid, a mud pinnacle. and constantly placing new on top of old. And every child that played, every chicken that died, every fire that was built, every argument that was had, every person that died, that salt was placed into the mound below it as more mud was placed on top of it, which created a capacitance, a battery, a module for the mind to jack into itself and remember without having to spend calories. This is the magic of talisman. This is the magic of church. This is the magic of, hey, our first gods have to be based by the sea because the ocean's big enough, it has enough salt, that our belief engine, our placebic infant inside of our brain can jack into the salt of the ocean and invigorate our temple so that we can believe. And we took this magic from the ocean. We took the phallus that we found from ancient squid. No shit. From petrified ancient squid, we'd find these phalluses. We'd find these spirals. We'd invent abraxas. We'd pull this rooster tentacled squid dude out of the water and wrap him around our wrist and our neck because we didn't have the capacity to hold this yet. So what is a country? It's the same thing. It's the same talisman. It's the same eagle warrior from the Aztec that we're running right now. And these people, these Marines, had their ass kicked by 2,500 guys wearing sandals, and 19 of them armed with box cutters. What is the world telling you about Predator? What is the world telling you about this role of being the golden child? The golden child is worshipped as the most powerful. Are they? Or are they worshipped as the most powerful? Which is it? I don't know what's going to happen here. Yeah. I just had muted. You're listening to Tuesday. We got a waka 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 from Portal Finder 23365. Thank you so much for the super chat, Portal Finder. You guys, hope you're doing well. We could take a little drink of water here. Yeah, that Newsom, he's a bad dude. He doesn't know how to run a state. Yeah, that Trump, he's fucking horrible. He doesn't know how to run the country. Yeah, I am from another country. I have nothing to do here, but I wear glasses and hold raincoat with dark hat. Yeah, I know, it's probably mean. I think it's a lot what I say about our armed service, but I also think that it's so crucial that we stop venerating these things because of what I meant about the Scion architecture, the power of your eyes, man, the power of your witness, the power of you to look at something, right, and go, oh, I see you. It causes so many things to happen. So many things. And I don't really give a shit if you're pro-riot or anti-riot. Neurons are being fed. And these neurons that are being fed are satisfying an appetite that's always been there. And the reason why that appetite's always been there is because people planted it there who understand how appetite works. That being a leader doesn't mean you control what the thought is. Being a leader means that you understand the recipe. You're able to predict what the dog wants. You don't actually get to tell the dog what it eats. The appetite of culture is always going to be intrinsically focused on the fractal of shame and the fractal of rejection. All art is a movement towards that which it is not. You understand? All art is a movement to that which it is not. Even fucking Andy Warhol got this. Even someone as dense as that understood the simple chemical formula that I'm telling you, that these guys are telling you. It's so, I can't say that it's simple because, quite frankly, it requires a certain kind of psychology to put this in your mouth and squish it around like Listerine and taste the truth of what it takes to run this place. But Gavin Newsom shows you that. So does Donald Trump. They all do. Lance Armstrong shows you that. Just trying to put it on every level. It's the reality stars show you that. Whoever's on top shows you that. What you lack is understanding that everyone on top would have to be that way. This really is in my mind, this is the driving force that causes the fractal to expand, which means who am I to fight it? I've tried to fight it. I've tried to fight it. It's like trying to put a wholesome reality television show out. It's not going to happen. Look at fucking Kirk Cameron. Like this is old magic that works this way for a reason. But stop doubting the reason. Stop insisting that the reason is because we're scum. Why does it happen that way? And the answer is fashion. The answer is the mechanics of fashion. And I mean this beautifully. I mean that you can tap into why the fractal has no choice but to unwind this way, the same way that you tap into why a yuppie would have kids and the first inclination the child would have would be to be a hippie. And why, if that hippie had kids, the first inclination that child would have is to be a yuppie. That there is a tacking maneuver that takes place, right? Where we go back and forth and back, and that we need this kind of movement to get us there. That's what we need. It's very, very important. So, being a leader is not really having courage. Being a leader is understanding the appetite. And you thought I was going to say feeding it, quenching it maybe. And that's not actually how it works. Like any drug pusher, you're going to want that appetite to go deeper. You're going to want to insert and inject every single thing that you possibly can to create more drama in the moment. And in Blueprints of Mind Control, I outlined just how clearly this is professional wrestling in the sense of there was a generation that didn't know this wasn't real. There's generations that don't understand that dilithium crystals, I swear, that do not understand that dilithium crystals came from Star Trek. Neil deGrasse Tyson understands the same way Andy Warhol understands, the same way Gavin Newsom understands. Do you understand? Because understanding, I think, requires either evacuation or compassion. You get to pick. If you want to harness the power, you're going to have to choose evacuation. You're going to have to get right up in there. You're going to have to get right up in there. Like your shoulder is all the way up that elephant's butthole. You are deep, man. And guess what? It's not far enough. Your entire head's going to have to go in. It's going to have to go in, whether it be a jackass or an elephant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to go all the way in. Lance, you're going to have to inject your balls, man. You're going to have to shrink them up. You're going to have to lie and never say this to anyone ever again. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to. And this is not an evil system. This is actually the only way that it could prove who deserves to be on the bow of that fractal. It's true. Who wants it the most? If you want to look at why certain people don't succeed, it's because they're really good people. They're just really good dudes, really good ladies, really good folk, just really good-hearted people. They're here. They're in the moment. They have a compassionate, completeness to them. And this completeness is fucking killing them. It's making it so hard to prosper in a world in which this fractal is insisting that it unwinds itself. It insists upon itself. And you as a cultural icon can find where that fractal is unwinding and place yourself on the furrow of it right before. It would be like me doing a stream talking about the riots today or something. Be like that. It'd be like someone trying to tap in, not to the truth, not to themselves, not to the authentic message, but to what actually was happening around and where the most people had their eyes struck. And can I find some sort of parabola or collector for that information, right? This is probably the thing that does me the most damage, is I don't do enough shows like this, where I don't focus enough on actually what is happening. And why? It's mainly because the way I feel about stuff isn't necessarily gonna be the best dish to serve. It's not necessarily entertaining. My veteran view on the whole military is precisely informed by what's happened in my immediate family. Just watching my dad, watching people on the base, watching everyone around sort of participate in this system where they insist that they're the good guys because they just got through fucking shooting somebody in the fucking face. Why? Because their goat ran away. Mark Wahlberg did a movie called Lone Survivor. Lone Survivor told you the story. I believe it was a SEAL. And the SEAL worked with Marines, but Marcus Luttrell. And Marcus Luttrell told you a story where, because of his Christian heart, he tried to spare someone who secretly was working for the Taliban, and that him and his 3 buddies or 5 buddies came under attack by 200 Taliban forces armed with guns, grenades, and RPGs. And Mark Wahlberg made a movie about it, so I mean, it had to be fucking true, right? I mean, you saw Top Gun. You saw Black Hawk Down. Oh, you didn't see it, but you know it won Academy Awards. You know that. I mean, you know that, right? It won all those awards. Like, best use of styrofoam recycle cup program out of any cinematography filmed within this region of the country. And it wins all these awards because, what they say, the military, one of the first things they developed was like 5,000 unique press offices whose sole goal was to distribute propaganda to the people. Like Marcus Luttrell. Here's guys, this isn't even evil. If you want to hold the people's attention, you're going to have to shake 2 sticks. One's arrows of war and the other's the arrows of peace. Why? Because it's the only thing that activates enough neurons to where people have no choice but to live somewhere in between. Where the decision becomes so important that each of you are forced at gunpoint necessarily to choose between one. War or peace, which is it, which is it? And whichever one you is used to condemn that which is not. And when you condemn that which is not, you feel more powerful. So the entire inflammation of war itself is a distribution of power into the people that invigorates them. And some of those people are invigorated so much by the song that they show up and they say, hey, where do you want me? And the Pied Piper says, hey, let's go down the river. I got something to show you. You're going to love it down there. And you know what? The people that are the best, they want to be Marines. They want to be SEALs. They want to be the ones that go into the water to prove how brave they are. I hope that this is as profound as it is insulting, as it is embarrassing. Maybe it doesn't even reach you at all. I have no fucking idea. Sorry. But when you truly start to unlock the folly of placing yourself in that uniform, you understand why I saw the nurses as veterans, the second COVID started. I could just be like, I was like, fuck. People were like, what? I was like, thank you for your service. Don't you understand? And no, people didn't understand because they hadn't seen that yet. I don't think they see it yet. I don't think that this is what I'm telling you is necessarily what people see yet. You may see it. Let me know if you do. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to feel less schizophrenic by it. But this, watching the folly of that saran wrap, this is why I tell you fashion is so much more important than you think, ladies. This is why I dress this way, because fashion is so much more important than you think. It's so much more important than you think. I'm Dieter, and I dictate all that comes. And fashion changes me the way it changes you, and all of us change once we change what we wear, because to change what we wear changes our immunity field, our placebo. Channeling Big Giant Head through the power of fashion. See, it allows you to play. It allows you to engage into a different kind of spirit, because all you need is that little spark. All you need is just a little story. All you need is just a little propaganda. Just a tiny bit of propaganda. I have told you before, not only are viruses real, but they run off propaganda. That every single piece of media that you've ever ingested is a protein shell. It's true. It's a shell of protein, and everyone likes protein. Hey, look at me. I'm on a protein diet. I'll take some protein. So you find the flavors of these viruses, the protein shells, but they're just media. They're propaganda. And what's inside? Informational DNA, a string of text. Roses are red. Violets are blue. This is a virus, and so are you. All of your mitochondria, your ancient DNA, was actually first tuned by virus. Why? Because you emerged, my friends. You came online, and you never stopped. You're doing it now. Black Eye Club's in stores. You can go right now and get it on Amazon. It's actually on sale. It's you asked to see. Now you can't look away. Lita, an immaculate conception burdened with memories from another lifetime, whose mysterious child and fractured reality may hold humanity's survival in the balance. Blumen, a scientist haunted by lost love, who defies nature and mortality, resurrecting the woman he cannot release and descending into Hades to reclaim her. Linus, the creator of a revolutionary sonic technology whose dangerous allure leads him into visions powerful enough to unravel the mind. Sawa, an albino orphan living in Tanzania, hunted by superstition, whose irreversible sacrifice sparks a brutal trade in myths, bodies, and desperation. Omari, a ruthless broker navigating the shadowy market of human genetic capital driven by ambition and profit. I would go on, but please buy my book. Please consider sharing links to my book. It would mean so much to me right now. I feel like I've sort of been screaming too much about it, and I apologize. It's just so much prana and energy that I think is waiting for you inside this book, and I really do think that it would move you in such a way that you might be glad that you were told, glad that you were, nay, insisted upon it. I have placed a link in the chat where you can click. Thank you for allowing me to plug my book. Very proud of this work. I hope that you will find it enjoyable. More importantly, if you do not, please let me know. I want to get some reviews on this baby. I want to get some reviews on this thing and find out. So, we will riot. Is this the right one? No, I think it's this one. Yeah. All right, I'm going to set something up, guys. I don't know if anyone's in there, but I've created a Zoom and chat.
Recording in progress.
I'm going to mute that. Okay, no one's in here. This should be okay. All right, guys. I have I don't know if it's gonna work, but if one of you wants, if two of you wants, if three of you wants, I put a link in the patron chat, and in the patron chat, you can go in there and come into the Zoom room. And if you have a question or a comment, I need you to raise your hand. I need you to just raise your hand and stay muted. And yeah, it's in the patron chat. And if you want to go in there and say something, please don't feel obligated. It's okay. I've already almost accomplished a full show anyway for Tuesday, so we could easily close it down in 10 minutes. But it is an opportunity for me to kind of test to see if I can do like live calls on my channel and stuff. So record without audio. So yeah, there we go. So in fact, no reason for actually it doesn't matter. But if anyone has any comments or questions or anything they want to discuss, feel free to raise your hand, and then I will try and integrate you in the show and see if that works. So is California Mexico, or is Mexico California? If we are embracing this idea of the Gulf of America, then don't we sort of have to become Mexico? Or is this an insistence that they must conform to us? Is that what we're saying? That has to work that way? Because I think Mexico actually has owned California longer than we have. I'm just saying, I think that's the case. And even if you watch everything as manufactured or not manufactured, you're still looking at a pump house as an important engine of validation. What do you mean validation? You have to validate why we need a government. You have to validate why we need a federal government. And that's getting harder to do. What if I was to tell you that the reason why there's a war with Musk, that Musk was supposed to leave right before this was happened, because this is a necessary part. Having another party start is absolutely crucially necessary. Forming a more perfect union will involve forming a different kind of division. Have you noticed that abortion has grown tired? It doesn't seem to trigger the same kind of responses the same way we could only get 80,000 people to show up to Vietnam. So the technocracy is not being shaped, it's just being seen. And as a natural byproduct of it being seen, it's going to turn what used to be a warehouse into a public shopping experience. Into a place where you could come into to this store that used to be the back end of the employees, and now it's the lobby. Right? So the church is always building itself around you. There's an iron dome Trump has mentioned. He mentioned wall last time. He mentioned dome this time. And in both cases, you could argue that he's doing this because he sees this overall Space Force dome kind of concept, because he thinks that's what's necessary for the country. But it's probably more like two wrestlers are in the back prepping for a show, and one of them says, "Hey, I got an idea. I want you to hit me with this chair when I turn my back on you." And they practiced this a few times. The Surgeon General during COVID was the Surgeon General for maybe 8 weeks. And he said, you need masks, then you don't need masks. And he was also the public health director of when the rotavirus came out, that he was in that same position of being poised on a political expose of a viral agent that had been exposed and used against one party, the Republican Party. 13 Republican people got sick. Is it any different than Governor Chris from Florida owning a mosquito spray business and declaring a state of emergency like 15 years later for the Zika virus and killing like millions and millions of honeybees. Like, I don't want to do a show where I'm like, hey, look how surprising this is. I mean, excuse me, I'm just over it. I think that it's foolish to insist that this is outrageous. I think it's foolish to insist that we can discern this and that I can tell you exactly who to blame. I think that's the worst thing that's happening right now, is that people are insisting that this can be dissected and we can trace this to the roots, and that roots is going to be this person or this Tavistock or this group or this CIA or that CIA or this deep state or this billionaire or this secret society. I think all those are lost energy, very valuable calories burnt in the effigy of, I just want someone to be responsible. I just want someone to be in control. I just want a pharmacos. I just let this be controlled because I will feel better. I don't want to fix it. I just want you to tell me someone's controlling it. It doesn't matter if it's good or evil. I don't fucking care. This is a psychology. This is a cosmology. This is why we form civilization. This is why we build palisades made out of trees, right? We're dead trees. You kill the trees first. Did you ever notice that? That when Wetiko came here, we were like, we got to cut down those trees, strip them of all their branches, and then stick them right up next to each other into a rim in the earth. We're going to dig an epidermis into the earth, and we're going to fill it full of trees. That's a bilipid organism. And everyone inside is going to be called civilized, and everyone inside is going to have to cut their hair. Until you reach a new point, then you have to not cut your hair. But you have to do it at the right time. That's the key. And you can't leave, you can't fornicate, you can't trade, you can't do anything with anything outside this organism, because we are a settlement, and we're a corporate settlement that was brought to you by another corporate organization from across the sea. That corporate nation funded this other corporate nation coming, and the first thing they did is they had to establish an epidermis. They had to cut down a lot of trees and create a false perimeter around it. That's what they did. Indians did the same. They did the same thing. The key for the Indians wasn't a gate. The key was, let's just make you serpentine in. That's all. As long as you have to walk through a limited hallway to get inside, we're good for you. And this is just the architecture of cells. This is just how organisms work. It's just how organisms work, right? You got an entryway. You come inside. You keep something valuable, call it a nucleus, whatever. Nucleus gets bigger over time. Grows abnormally, awkwardly organized, grows its own ecosystem, has its own foundation, declares that it itself is the land, right? This is normal. This is the fractal of humanity unwinding, and it's unwinding through fashion, and politics is fashion too. So we have an open borders policy for the sole purpose of pushing how important immigration reform is. That's the same circuit. If you want to create a reality show, you need a circuit. So you don't need like a wholesome relationship, right? You don't want that. Jerry Springer doesn't have, hey, let's bring out the Thompsons. Hey, Thompson, what are you into? I like golf. Pretty into frisbee golf. I love my kid. I don't really mow my lawn that much. I'm not really that into it. I mean, I do it, but that's not that really important to me. Yeah. It's going to cut down a tree in my yard, but it's kind of scary. It's going to lean over the house. It's like, oh, this is exciting television. This is exciting, right? What's happening in LA? It's pumping the world. I think the biggest problem the federal government has right now is proving that it's valid. proving that what it's doing is making sense. And the only thing that's clinging to making it sense is how much people are insisting that someone's in charge and that person's just wrong. That's the biggest enemy. That's really the biggest enemy. Hey, we got someone in chat. Let's see if this works. Hey, we also got people. Okay, let's see. I'm going to see if I can share this. Let me see here. Yesenia, I think you can hear me in chat now. Make sure the show's not on. And if you can hear me, please unmute. And then give me a few seconds as you talk so I can make sure that everyone else can hear you. You there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Someone in chat, let me know if you just heard that. But yeah, what you got, Yesenia? Good to see you. Happy Tuesday.
Hi. So talking about the riots and just everything going on, and I typically think back to just when it comes to like the dichotomy of race and just ethnicity. I think back to the story that they tell us in school about like slavery. Like what happened then if the Iroquois was here, which I'm trying to morph my belief into that because it does make more sense and it feels like less chaotic in my nervous system to believe that. What is the story of like slavery? Because like now I refuse to believe that like there was like 5 to like 10,000 boats that were set out to like go back to Africa and kidnap these people. Like I refuse to believe that people willfully did that, or maybe they just offered them shoes like you said and they just got on a boat and they go to the other side and realize that it's not what they believed it was going to be.
Yeah.
I'm done asking questions.
Thank you so much for that. And also thank you for helping me test Yesenia. I think I had some echo there, and I think the echo is gone, but I don't know if it's gone. I think it went away in the middle of Yesenia saying what she had to say, not at the end. And Yesenia was discussing the concept of slavery and how we felt about slavery initially versus how we feel about slavery now. And these are very different things. And I think this is pretty crucial. It's very difficult to argue, like I do so much, that slavery is a parasitic relationship, and a parasitic relationship is just something that nature does, that nature uses this on purpose. So we have a shame about slavery the same way we have a shame that there was already a Confederacy here. Therefore, both would insist that we did not use their system of government. We did not adopt the Aztecian, Mixcoatlian, Iroquoian bicameral house, even though we did. That slavery itself is an abomination versus something that has always been the most upwardly mobile system of conscious expansion in our world. Why are we ashamed of that? Why is government teaching us that we're ashamed of that? And I'm going to tell you something. I don't think it's because government wants you to know that. I think it's because people want people to know that. No shirt, no shoes, no service is a direct attack on the Wolfian archetype of man, on the feral nature of man. And there is a shame on the feral history of us that is only apparent because of how far we've advanced. The dystopian nature of the world increases the more advanced you become. So too does the shame of where you've been. So to have a hatred of the parasite, to look at it as even the connotation that we have right now, what parasite means is really, really, I think, bigger tell than we think. It shows you how this works. The parrots running the Discord in LA and race as old as Circle to Run, almost as boring as Tom Thomas. Yeah, and this is why I think, if I follow your point, loved one, this is why I think we're watching an attempt at making a new party And I want you guys to know that Elon Musk, like, really shit on the Libertarian Party by saying that we need to start a new party. If you don't know this, he polled his own community of robots, and 80% of them were in favor of him starting a new party. Gee, go figure that. And the echo chamber of all those things is I think, built into the decline of it all. Macron is an example of this. There's a necessity to suck. I think this is why the Marines had their ass kicked, because there's a necessity to suck. That you need to be taken out by box cutters. The most sophisticated advanced military that's ever been made has to be taken out by box cutters, because there's no other fucking reality that we can place that anyone else would believe. Where do you fucking go from here? Jersey Shore? What does that do to the rest? To the rest of your appetite, to the rest of what's expected of you, right? Yesenia, is your hand still up? If it is, say something again, because I want to see if I fix this echo. I had an echo earlier. Okay, she must.
Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry, is that I'm also watching you, so it's...
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I know I figured I'd put you on the spot, but your hand was still up, so I wasn't sure if you'd raise it again, too.
I didn't, but since you go... Just to reiterate, so ultimately, we're just in a conglomeration of our past. Like, our past is just conglomerated, high resolution, interface, and ultimately because I'm just speaking also for myself, like, I guess I feel overwhelmed that it's all happening so fast. Like, even these riots, like, it's just I feel like it's just to grab fear, and it pulls us away from truly looking within into these like topics that honestly ring true.
Yeah. Yeah. I was writing today about fear. If you think about like demons, I was thinking about fear and about how it never occurred to me that fear is a kind of compass. It's a compass that's showing you where the most powerful entity is in your vicinity. That you have built into you this dowsing rod. It's not showing you where water is. It's showing you where power is.
Wow.
And you only have this magnet because you are looking for more power. That your fear of something is your collecting of more power. That you are magnetically looking for the source of a better posture. And when you get closer to that source, you feel that magnetic truth. And you don't even need your eyes open. In fact, you close your eyes when you're afraid. You close your eyes because the magnetic attraction is so strong that you have no choice but to hide from it. So when we look at the reason why there's a stigma around demons, it's sort of off the topic, I guess, but the reason why there's a stigma around demons is more because it's supposed to be there. It's the same way that a government does not love you if they're not going to be telling you fucking stories about the ISS. The government doesn't give a shit about you if they're just going to tell you, here's just all the boring truth we do. We don't want to give you a lot of propaganda, because that government would die. That government would dissolve. Do you know how I know? Because the Iroquois Confederacy. That's why. Because it already happened, and it keeps happening, and it happens to bike racers. You guys probably don't know Ingve Gukika, the most famous non-doping bike racer in the world, and none of you know his name. You don't know the perils that he went through to never ever dope. You do not understand that him coming in 126th place is a fucking miracle, because he's competing with thousands and thousands and thousands of fucking tiny balls that are sticking needles in their ass. Those heroes drowned. They drowned in their own sanctity. And you will never see them unless you dive deep. You got to be a beaked whale. You gotta be a big whale, man. All right, so you guys should hear music. Yesenia was talking. That was cool. Thank you so much for the check there, Yesenia. This is great. I think we got a show here, right? Yeah, I know. We'll put like pictures and fancy graphics. All right. You're watching James True Live. Hey, something happened there. That's no good. I'm gonna figure that out. I think maybe that was the one that wasn't like a. I gotta learn all these. Discerning Light. Been here in Los Angeles all my life. So what's it like, my friend? Tell us what's going on. This Wolfman Jack ain't going at it. So that's off playing. I gotta get that on loop. Is what I gotta do there. Oh, right on. James, your book is now on my card. Thank you. Let's all get together and dance, literally. TV will disappear. Yeah, I'm for that. I'm for that. Aurorian just completed a bike ride. Chilled a baby snapping turtle. Find the river. Appreciate you. Turtles are so cool. We're living on the back of a giant fantasy shell. You know that. You probably knew that. Hey, if you missed the show yesterday, it was supposed to be about thank you so much to Yesenia and Renee for helping me test the Zoom. That is really great. I'm shutting that Zoom down now. And what a great test. So appreciate you being here. And I'm out of the riot loop, I suppose. Stretch, we covered a little bit of that in the beginning. There's like 55, 56 so far confirmed arrests. And 5,000 troops on the way. 700 of them are Marines. And now you know why the National Guard has dresses in camouflage. Now you know. Am I the only one who always wondered that? I'm like, question? Yeah. Shouldn't we be able to see the National Guard? Like what? Shouldn't we be able to like see them? It's like, no, James, you're such an idealist. I'm like, yeah, but like, are they like like, they're just like cops with like military armor, right? So they should be dressed as cops. Shouldn't they? And the answer is no. No, James. James, you have a houseplant. And we have to build the border. Remember, Trump said that he only did this because of fentanyl. You know that, right? He only did this because of fentanyl. This is why Newsom and Trump are doing this. There's only a few of us that would be willing to do this. I'm not one of them. You're not one of them, right? You guys have a great day. Enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll probably do a nighttime show. Do a Wednesday night dojo, which will be good. So hope to see you there. Might do a show before then. Might do a show in the day, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I appreciate you being here. Thanks for helping me test this out. Let me know what you think about the book. Feel free to invest in your copy right now of James True Black Eye Club. I appreciate you. Solomon, a Beyonder who curates ancient human lineages, guiding humanity's destiny towards a perilous salvation.
through